Yeah, man! Serious times down in Johannesburg. Watch the fire now. Listen! The horns! Oh, yeah. The stage was set, the lights were low for the big G20 show. Leaders coming from across the sea to talk about the world economy. Johannesburg was dressed to impress, ready to clean up the global mess. But before the first gavel could sound, a different kind of noise started going around. Now everybody talking about Cyril's big blunder. He lighting the match while we standing under. You think you're smart with that devious smile, but you're burning down the bridge for mile after mile. Oh, Cyril's big blunder, what a heavy price when you're playing politics and rolling the dice. The party is cancelled, the guests wouldn't come. Now we dancing alone to the beat of the drum. The see politicians step up to the mic, spewing out words that nobody like. They open their mouths and the fire jump out, insulting America, scream and shout. They're telling tall tales, they're telling the lies, right there under the African skies. And the media catch it, they run with the ball, they amplify the noise until the whole thing fall off. Talking about Cyril's big blunder, he lighting the match while we standing under. You think you're smart with that devious smile, but you're burning down the bridge for mile after mile. Oh, Cyril's big blunder, what a heavy price when you're playing politics and rolling the dice. The party is cancelled, the guests wouldn't come. Now we dancing alone to the beat of the drum. Yeah. Watch the house of cards, they're tumbling on. Yeah, blow it down, what a mess. I look at the president sitting up high, I see that little twinkle in his eye. He cracking that smile, that devious grin, while the diplomatic ice is getting very thin. You think the eagle gonna take that heat? Nah, sir, they won't take a seat. No Uncle Sam at your Josie party. You chase them away, you're acting too hearty. It's Cyril's big blunder, he lighting the match while we standing under. You think you're smart with that devious smile, but you're burning down a bridge for mile after mile. Oh, Cyril's big blunder, what a heavy price when you're playing politics and rolling the dice. The party is cancelled, the guests wouldn't come. Now we dancing alone to the beat of the drum. Yeah, yeah, they staying away America now come to Johannesburg today. You set the house on fire, man, what kind of plan? Cyril, wipe that smile off your face. It's a disgrace. No, sir. No, sir.
New faces arrive with stories untold.
The air is thick, but the dreams are wide.
South African hearts crossing the tide. Safe in liberty's embrace, where the stars and stripes find space. Sweat rolls down, but the hope runs deep. Alabama heat. Alabama heat.
They carry talent in battered bags.
No corruption here to plant new flags.
From the ashes of crime they rise.
the future sings. Freedom hums on broken wings. Safe in liberty's embrace, where the stars and stripes find space. Sweat rolls down, but the hope runs deep. Alabama heat. Alabama heat.
Humidity hugs like an old ghost, but here they stand. A living toast to freedom soil, to the promised land. With calloused hands, they take a Alabama heat. Alabama
Marvin Devine. I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was right by your side. You manipulator, playing games, your friends commentators, and I don't know what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming. It's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
Hello, folks. Welcome back to Chris Wyatt Reports. It's Chris live in central Pennsylvania. Chris just doing a quick sound check there. Where apparently the hate runs, the salt flows, the lying sacks of manure, case officers who are spreading rumors and slander and defamation because they're failing. Those who are doing a great job don't seem to have any problem with reporting. Alma says, want to thank you for everything you do. You're very welcome. Time is precious. It is. And I do give a lot of it. Thank you so much for recognizing that. Appreciate it. Villa Fandemeva, thank you for your membership. I missed that at the outset. Thank you for joining. Yeah, well, we got a busy day today. Let's see. We've got this news broadcast, which is an early time, followed by Cyril Ramaphosa's State of the Nation address, where he'll tell us lots of fairy tales and empty promises, followed by Indian South Africans in America. No, not our Indians, your Indians. No, Indians, origin, subcontinent Indians, a family that are over here as refugees. It will be an anonymous conversation, ladies and gentlemen, because they fear retribution. And so we will have them on. Thank them for the courage for coming on. They contacted me while in South Africa and said they insist on doing the interview because they're tired of people lying about the program, saying it's only for white farmers, when obviously it's not. Why is my shirt crooked? There we go. Now it's straight. All right, so we're going to talk about that coming up. Des, from the bottom of our heart, thank you for standing up. You're very welcome. Thank you, sir. You're very welcome. Right, let's get going here. Yaman. Okay, Cyril's big blunder. Yes, let's talk about Cyril's big blunder. He's got a lot of big blunders. I'm not sure which one to start with, but we got plenty. Let's go ahead and start with the news. First off, out of the gate, President Cyril Ramaphosa, thank you for your membership there, Bloom, for 11 months. You're very welcome. So let's go on with this story here, folks. It's Cyril's annual State of the Nation address, which I call the comedy hour, because it's just pure fiction. He tells fairy tales. I was thinking about getting popcorn, but I had some last night, so I'm not in the mood for popcorn now. Oh, my mobile is almost dead. Battery's almost flat. Let me charge that. Okay, there we go. Oh, it was 13%, so it was in the red. Cyril is a blunder. All right, but you can stick with us if you want. Lots of content today. We may have an audience come and go, but we've got the events coming up today, including a refugee interview. So it should be interesting for everyone who is interested in those sorts of things. Winnie Gen X, welcome to you. Golda Krug is back. All right, time for the news. President Ramaphosa set out a national progress and the challenges in the State of the Nation address. Well, let's see what he says. Ramaphosa will speak today, the 12th of February, to deliver the State of the Nation address to a joint sitting of the two houses of Parliament, the National Assembly, and the National Council of Provinces in Cape Town City Hall. Why Cape Town City Hall? Because the ANC's piss-poor security left the Parliament building unsecured for days on end, while a homeless person wandered around and eventually decided to burn the place down. The guards who had cameras watching it were off duty, probably out back getting a few, knocking boots with someone, or sleeping. And the man walked around there for hours the day that he actually burned the building down. And we still don't have resolution on this torching of the historic Parliament building. The ANC will destroy everything in their effort to steal everything. Their cultural genocide, their renaming campaign, their attacks on whites and Indians and coloreds, their racial policies, or racial preferences, and their inability to manage anything, including a kindergarten creche, will lead to the ultimate destruction of what was once a nation that could have been the powerhouse, the engine of all of Africa. What a sad story. During the State of the Nation 2026, President Ramaphosa will outline interventions for the coming financial year, none of which will be applied, deliberating on South Africa's domestic priorities, as well as the country's continental international relations, all of which are in shambles. The State of the Nation address remains an important national milestone to whom? Reinforcing the strength and resilience of South Africa's constitutional democratic system. Strength and resilience, a country whose very foundation is based on racism, racial preferences, racial exclusion, racism. Democratic system? It's not democratic. It's autocratic. This is South Africa. Well, Cyril's big party is going to be interrupted by the fact that there's no water in Johannesburg. Millions of people with no water. What is going on here? An urgent $400 million needed to fix South Africa's water infrastructure. Why do you need $400 billion? Because the likes of Phumi Mojadina and all her ANC predecessors have failed to do the most basic things. Minister of Water and Sanitation Phumi Mojadina says 400 billion rand is needed to fix the water infrastructure. Obviously, Minister Phumi Mojadina is starving. She can't survive because of systemic racism. Jan van Riebeck and Donald Trump have kept her from getting her chicken lickings and her KFCs. Look at the poor lady. She's wasting away to nothing. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you, Tata, the clouds are gathering, Tata. Oh, the clouds are gathering, Tata. Yes, the clouds are gathering. 400 billion rand of clouds. Ooh, there's no money. There's no room at the end. Oh, my goodness. But the poor lady is wasting away, along with all the other caterers who just can't survive on their tiny little salaries in the systemically racist country. I mean, have you met my white Minister of Agriculture? Well, maybe you met both of him since he's twice the size he was when he took over. But yeah, look at this lady. Oh, am I fat shaming? I suppose I am. Maybe I am. Mojadina was speaking to the media yesterday alongside Deputy Minister David Malobo, Gauteng Premier Panyaza Lesufi, and Joburg Mayor Dada Marrero. She said neither she nor the deputy could commit to whether Gauteng will receive extra funding to support municipalities. The budget vote's on the 25th. Well, that's 2 weeks away. What we're going to do is a delegation led, sent by the president here. We're going to compile our report, but we must not thumbsuck about the challenges and amount that's needed. Thumbsuck. How about you do your damn job there, sweetheart? Wow. She recalled a previous media briefing saying, in terms of water infrastructure at the local government sphere, we need nothing less than $400 billion to fix the water. You don't need $400 billion. You need $360 billion to put in your crooked pockets, ANC caters, and the other $40 billion to modestly address the problem. That's the case. I made an appeal to all the mining houses, especially here in Gauteng, to say they must partner with their municipalities, and there was a commitment. So you're blaming the industrial sector, which will have to fire people in order to comply with your needs because there's no water, because of the crooked, thieving ANC, the incompetent ANC. Wow, that's something else. That is incredible. A month ago, I was in Northwest, and where we met with Glencore and other mining houses. We're building or connecting a 37-kilometer water pipeline. They came in at 50-50. So Glencore is paying for half of the infrastructure to put a water pipeline on, which will be something the government was supposed to do. Wow. 400 billion rand. Interesting. That's actually real money. That's billions of dollars. Actually, billions of dollars. And we're going to support them engaging in National Treasury, see how far the National Treasury goes. Not very. Thank you, Kays Gardner, for your Tom Stormchaser. Thank you for your membership. And Kays Garden, thank you for your 10 months of membership. There it is. Kays Garden, thank you. They treat taxpayers like it's monopoly money. All you hear is 200 billion or 400 billion, 600 million here or there. Exactly, Westhouse. And they just waste it. They don't spend it on the infrastructure. She added that major reservoir projects are nearly complete. The Brixton Water Reservoir is 90% ready. Once completed, there'll be a lot of relief. Well, it has to fill first, doesn't it? Doesn't have to fill full of water, so there won't be relief. Wow, but clouds are gathering from this minister who doesn't realize that once the project is complete, you actually have to allow it to fill with water. Now, where's that water coming from? Rain? Is it coming from Lesotho? We urge communities to work with Joburg Water while we restore the system and get the used water sparingly in the meantime. People are not getting water today. Will get to water tomorrow and in the coming days. Fire this Tubalard. Fire this incompetent clouds are gathering moron. Another inept ANC caterer who can't fight their way out of a wet paper bag. Pemi Mojadina. But this is what's stealing the thunder at Cyril Ramaphosa's budget speech. One of the things. Well, Ramaphosa will deliver the State of the Nation address here shortly, and we'll be here to cover it. At the City Hall. How embarrassing for the ANC. Ladies and gentlemen, are you going to watch today's State of the Nation address? The President of the Republic of South Africa will be addressing the nation. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. He'll be speaking members of the Parliament from both houses in the Cape Town City Hall. Why won't it be a Parliament? Because they burned it 3 years ago. Broken Arrow, thank you for that 40 Rand super chat. Clouds are gathering, Tata. Look at that. Clouds are gathering. Here's our first 140 Rand to fix the water supply for Joburg. We only need 900. Oh, how much? 399 billion. 999,999,900 or 860 more Rand to get to that 400 billion. Yes, State of the Nation address live from the Cape Town City Hall because the ANC torched or let be torched the Parliament building. Well, Action SA's Athol Trout, former mayor of the Nelson Mandela Bay metropolitan area and Democratic Alliance member for most of his life, is calling for a national disaster for foot and mouth disease. KZN has already declared a provincial disaster, and Johnny Boy has nothing to say about this. Declare a foot and mouth disease a national disaster, urges Action SA's party and Athol Trollop. Action SA MP Athol Trollop has urged President Ramaphosa to declare a state of disaster on foot and mouth disease during the State of the Nation, citing its impact on farmers and the economy. Trollop has highlighted vaccine shortages and the risk of milk to meat shortages, stressing the need for urgent government intervention. Minister Kumbudzu Ncheveni has confirmed that Ramaphosa will address it during the efforts, during the State of the Nation address, the government's efforts. Trollop, who's been a critical voice on how the government has handled the disease, has said he hoped Ramaphosa would make a big pronouncement on foot and mouth disease, as it not only affects farmers, but also South Africans at large. It also affects all of us. There will be a shortage of milk as more and more herds are contaminated with foot and mouth disease. They contract mastitis. Their production goes down, and we'll have a shortage of meat. Meat will start costing more. It already is. It already is happening, Minister. Reservoir warnings in Centurion, no water in Northwest. South Africa is literally collapsing as we speak. But today, driving up their BMW 8 Series, wearing his $10,000 suit with his unwarranted wealth that he amassed because he was a connected caterer, President Cyril Ramaphosa, the so-called businessman, which he's not, will give a State of the Nation address in which he talks about the reason that South Africa is having problems is because of Donald Trump and Jan van Riebeck, the after effects of apartheid. Jan, of course, doesn't know what apartheid is because he died centuries before such a thing existed. But when you talk to caterers in the ANC, they don't understand history because they're too stupid to want to learn history. Well, the state of the economy, reforms, and other things should come up. Resilience and the long walk to 3%. Okay, so this is a story by Nicola Mawson in the Independent Online, and they're talking about the economy growing. The title is 3%, the long walk to 3%. Ladies and gentlemen, let me put things in perspective for you. Inflation is currently running at 3.6% in the Republic of South Africa. That means in order to not become poorer, you must make 3.6% more just to keep pace with where your income is today, then you can purchase the same things. In addition to that, South Africa's population is growing at 1.4% annually. So, the country adds about 800,000 new people per year, not even including illegal immigration. That's just new South Africans. That's a net positive after deaths and births, 800,000 new South Africans. In 18 years, those 800,000 South Africans will need jobs, and that's been going on for the last 34 years. Here's the problem. 1.4% population growth, 3.6% inflation. The economy is growing at 0, 0, nil, nix, not, and yet 9 in the Bonhoeffer percent, 0%, 0.5%. Do you see the problem here? 1/6, less than 1/6, 1/7 of the actual inflation rate is how fast the economy is growing. This is a joke. Yet they're going to talk about how they've turned the corner. Another lie. A key issue that needs to be addressed tonight after the fashion show is that of economic growth. Much seems to depend on phase 2 of Operation Vulindela. Yeah, it extended to also embrace industry and tourism with the same vigor which ESCOM's woes were tackled. ESCOM is not out of the woods. Gross domestic product growth of 3% is a magical number for job creation, and South Africa's not there yet. That's pure poppycock. 3% will not create jobs. No. 8.5% will create jobs. 8.5%. 8.5%. Gross domestic product growth 3% is a magical number. In fact, the International Monetary Fund this week noted that economic growth should reach 1.3% in 2025. Okay, compared to 0.6% in 2025. 2024, 2025. Then it should rise to 1.8%. 1.8%. That's still half of what the inflation rate is. Carpe Diem Research forecasts an economic growth of 1.6% this year. At this point, 3.5% year-on-year infrastructure investment. How do you invest 3.5% infrastructure when you don't even have $400 billion to fix the water? People are going to die of dehydration. Given the timeliness signals from the index, expectations of the economy grew by 1.3%, almost tripling the 0.5% in 2024 was anticipated. It didn't grow by 1.3% in 2025, no. And tripling, so you're going to celebrate the fact that you went from 0.5% to 1.3%? 1.3%. That's still less than population growth. Welcome, Joe Mail, to the team. Thank you. Overall, the South African economy starts here on a reasonably optimistic footing with some tailwinds still playing out. No water, no electricity, no infrastructure. Your tax base fleeing the country every day. Yeah, okay. What is it starting a good note? Unemployment at 40%, no water, crime, gangsters running the construction industry, running the taxi industry, running the government. As South Africa prepares for the State of the Nation, a political address, political and labor leaders say Ramaphosa must confront the country's deepening economic and service delivery crisis. There's Matthew Parks, a previous guest on my program from COSATU. Collapsing infrastructure and crime at the center of concerns. COSATU's parliamentary coordinator, Matthew Parks, has warned South Africa faces a ticking time bomb of 42% unemployment, saying the economy has been stuck at 1% growth for nearly 2 decades. We need to take growth to at least 3% before we begin to see unemployment. No, I'm sorry, Matthew, it's 8.5% if you want to eliminate poverty. 8.5%. Local government remains a deep concern. On crime, Parks rejected claims of white genocide, but stressed that violent crime affects all South Africans. We have such high levels of murder, rape, gender-based violence, and robbery. It paints a picture of lawless society. You won't attract investment in that environment. Indeed. 100%. 100% Matthew Parks. That is a fact. That is a fact. Hang on a second here, folks. I need to take care of something very quickly. Oops, that's already got that open. What am I doing? That's not what I'm looking for. Sorry, hit the wrong button there. This is what I'm looking for. And why does this come up over there? That's crazy. It went to the wrong screen. All right, take care of that. Now I need to do this real quick. One more thing. Okay, here he goes. All righty, there we go. I took care of what I need to take care of there now, so that's good to see. Okay, back to this. We're still live. Okay, so the African National Congress calls on South Africans to show resilience. You're supposed to show resilience in the face of nonsense. Moderate tone, acknowledge the success and the ongoing challenges. Interesting, to say the very least. Well, the ANC is full of themselves. Are they not? Are they not? The ANC is calling on South Africans to join hands and show resilience before Ramaphosa's State of the Nation address, saying the moment is one of recovery, renewal, and shared responsibility. Recovery, renewal, and shared responsibility. Are you serious? Are you serious? Look at this. Cyril Ramaphosa carrying a candle for the victims of gender-based violence, while the ANC has done nothing for it. Nothing for it. Susie Mtwetwe, thank you for your 21 Rand. Thank you for your 21 Rand super chat. Yeah, this is just pathetic. This is pathetic, folks. Ramaphosa. Hours before his address, the party and government described the address as taking place at a defining moment in the life of our democracy, 32 years after the advent of democratic rule. A defining moment. No, it's a collapsing moment. while highlighting the signs of economic stabilization, including improved performance of state-owned enterprises, moderated inflation, and the country's removal from the Financial Action Task Force. The ANC's tone signaled limited room for bold new interventions. We call upon all South Africans to join hands in this national effort to harness our creativity, resilience, and shared purpose in shaping a future defined by dignity, opportunity, and inclusive prosperity for all. Okay. Sure. Okay. The party pointed to what it described as immeasurable progress. Eskom's operational stability, that's a fiction. People are out of power every single day. No one talks about that. South Africa Airways returning profitability, that's a joke. A rebound in tourism with 10.4 million arrivals and inflation at 3.6%. You're happy about inflation at 3.6%. It's actually not bad for an African country, but it's well below economic growth. They point to a shifting global landscape, reinforcing evolving trade arrangements such as GOA, renewed multilateralism, South Africa hosting G20. You're not in a GOA. You're not in a GOA. South Africa hasn't been certified for a GOA, so stop deluding yourself. Trix Mostart, thank you for the 21 Rand. Crazy stuff. Well, the State of the Nation address, as I mentioned, is taking a backseat to the water crisis in South Africa, as ministers jockey for who will be blamed. 7 million Rand being spent on the State of the Nation address. Wow. Parliamentary Speaker Toko Dodiza says improved planning in the absence of last year's weather disruptions have reduced the budget to 7 million, down from 15 million. People didn't steal as much this year. President Ramaphosa has reportedly instructed Water and Sanitation Minister Pemi Mojadina and the Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs Minister Velinkosi Labisa to urgently address Joburg's water instead of attending the State of the Nation address. So the virtue signaling of these two ministers not being in the City Hall for his State of the Nation address is going to solve the problem. No. Not going to happen. Unbelievable. Wow. It's unbelievable how stupid these people are. Out of touch. I think that's a good description. News 24, Cockprat 24 says, out of touch. Opposition rejects Panyazi Lesufi's apology. The ANC backs him amid a Gauteng water crisis. Why do they back these morons who are incompetent? Why does the ANC back its incompetent members? Why does it pick people who are competent to do these things? Gauteng Premier Panyazi Lesufi has faced backlash for saying that he sometimes showers at a hotel amid the water crisis, with some criticizing it as detached and from a point of privilege. Indeed, we talk about white privilege. There's no such thing. It's cater privilege. That's what South Africa has. Cater privilege. Nothing but cater privilege. Opposition parties not taking kindly to detached Gauteng Premier Panyazi Lesufi's apology for his comments on dealing with the inconvenience experienced by the water crisis. On Wednesday, the Premier claimed that he sometimes showered at a certain hotel amid the water crisis. People think there's water. No water. Ourselves, our families have water because there's special water. We don't. We also go through this. Before adding that in some instances, I have to go to a certain hotel so that I can bathe and go to do my commitments. We go through the same inconvenience. There's no special water, special pipe designed to service other people, not service other people. Panyazi Lesufi. Oh my goodness. Can you believe it? Oh my goodness. Thank you, Joe Mail. I appreciate it. Water by Sunday. But Joburg must brace for low pressure and water shifting. Water shifting. Look at all those starving people. Everyone. The only one who's fit there is Labisa from the IFP. The rest of them obviously have not missed the banquet table. Johannesburg residents can expect water to return by Sunday, according to the Water and Sanitation Ministry, as critical reservoirs and systems begin to stabilize. Well, why were they unstable, ANC? Why were they unstable? Answer me that. Answer me that, Batman. Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs Minister Velinkosi Labisa announced financial support for Joburg to address its aging water infrastructure. How about if people who get water actually pay for the water instead of getting it free and stealing, while a handful of people pay for all the services and the taxes that support that infrastructure? How about you do that? How about we do that? That would be a good way to solve this problem, is we get people who are using the water to actually start paying for it instead of expecting handouts because, well, now we're in charge. Now we're in charge. It all falls from the sky. It's all ours. It's our turn to eat. Wow. Well, South Africa does have some good news. A bumper maize crop, 30% higher than last year. That's some good news. All right. But I don't know who they're going to feed the maize to since all the cattle are dead. I mean, what's the point? 30% more maize this year compared to the previous crop. According to the Liaison Committee, the committee's final summer crop estimates put the harvest at 16.65 million tons, up from 12.85 last year. That's 8.45 million tons of white maize for human consumption, 8.2 million tons of yellow maize, mainly for animal feed. Amazing yacht destinations in Thailand sent me 40 Thai baht. Thank you for that super chat. I appreciate it. And Francois Thron, thank you for your membership. Appreciate it. Yeah, so 8.2 million tons of yellow maize for animal feed, but all the animals will be dead. So I guess you'll have to export that. South Africa has joined the African Union's Security Council for a 2-year term. Does that mean that cackling hyena is part of it? South Africa has been elected to the AU Security Council to serve a 2-year term, according to DIRCO. South Africa was elected alongside Lesotho and Addis as the two countries to represent Southern Africa. Minister Ronald Mullis said the election reaffirmed South Africa's role in fostering a more resilient continent. He thanked AU member states for their confidence and reaffirmed Pretoria's commitment to work constructively with the membership of the Security Council in addressing the many peace and security challenges on the continent. But here's the problem, ladies and gentlemen. Without money from the United States and the European Union, there would be no peace in Africa because the African Union doesn't fund its peace operations or its peace negotiations, all paid for by us. We, the taxpayer in America and in Europe, pay for any peace initiative at the African Union. I know what I speak of because I was at the African Union and I saw where the money came from. I worked these issues at the African Union. Apocalypse Ninja got feedback from my supplier website. Will be up in 2 weeks. Okay, cool beans. All right, Apocalypse Ninja, we're going to charge $100 per shirt. You get 50, I get 50. How's that? Oh, my goodness. Yeah. South Africa is committed to contributing to a continent that is prosperous, embodies Pan-African ideals. This commitment is evident in the numerous peace and security initiatives in which South Africa is participating and continues to engage. Which are these? Invading the DRC? Interfering in the politics of the Burundi? Sticking your nose into Cote d'Ivoire? Ignoring Mali, Burkina Faso, Nigeria, Somalia? What peace initiatives are you part of there, Ronnie? The continent continues to grapple with issues such as unconstitutional change to government, a recurring trend since 2020, which actually a recurring trend since independence in 1960, but hey, we'll forget about that, which persists until today, and terrorism and violent extremism has resulted in the killings and maiming of thousands of civilians. Yeah, and what have you done about it? Nothing. Furthermore, South Africa is committed to contributing to a continent that is prosperous and embodies Pan-African ideals. Why? This commitment is evident in numerous peace and security initiatives with South Africa has participated and continues to engage, including its role as interim chair of the Southern African Development Community. South Africa has been attempting to mediate the war in the Democratic Republic of Congo. No, they haven't. South Africa has not been mediating the war in the Congo. Who's been mediating the war in the Congo? The ANC? Ramaphosa? Dirk? No. Donald John Trump is the man who's ending the conflict in the DRC. Donald John Trump. Yeah, that Donald John Trump. The one that Raul Amolo called a white supremacist. The one that Ibrahim Rasool said was a leader for global white supremacy. He's the one ending the conflict that the ANC has been actively involved in, who sends soldiers to the Congo without body armor, without tents, without boots, without uniforms, to die. No medevac. And then runs away from rebels. Run away! Run away! Brave Sir Robin bravely ran away. No, I did not. I didn't run away. No, oh, stop it. Bravely ran. When danger reared its ugly head, brave Sir Robin turned and fled. Brave Sir Robin bravely ran away. Yes, that's what the government did with the Sandef. They bravely ran away. YouTube has been hiding my channel since September, with a brief upsurge in December, only because a lot of people tune in because it's Christmas time. You must make a bookmark. You must come and find me. Today is an exception because the Sona, I'm broadcasting early, so I get that. But you must know that I broadcast every day at the same time, 6 p.m. South African time, 7 days a week, come rain or shine or snow. Yep, unless I'm traveling. Well, ladies and gentlemen, some good news for fans of ancient boy bands. Boys to Bed will be back to South Africa. Boys to Men will return to South Africa this May, bringing their signature harmonies and soulful sound to the stage of Cape Town and Pretoria. Legendary R&B group known for shaping the soundtrack of a generation promises unforgettable experiences, fans eager to hear both timeless classics and newer material. I don't know any of their newer material, just know the classics. We're looking forward to reconnecting with our South African fans. South Africa has always shown us incredible love, and we cannot wait to return and perform. With 4 Grammy Awards, 9 American Music Awards, multiple Billboard Music Awards, and over 60 million albums sold, the group has influenced generations of artists. They last toured South Africa in 2023, with prior visits going back as far as 2015. Boys to Men. Cool. Apparently Babyface is going to be in Joburg this weekend. Wow. Wow. U.S. troops are in Nigeria, and they're not there for combat. They're just there for training. We do this all the time. I don't know why this makes the news. Nigeria's military said Wednesday about 200 U.S. troops due to arrive in the coming weeks would not take part in combat action, and Nigerian forces would retain full control over all security decisions. This follows comments from U.S. official on Tuesday. The Pentagon planned to deploy the troops to train Nigerian forces fighting Islamic militants. Well, this is something we do all the time. I'm not really sure why this made the news. Probably because Trump has talked about Nigerians being murdered in Nigeria. Christians, I should say, in Nigeria. Maybe that's why. But yeah, it's a matter of course. I organized these events throughout Africa from the years I worked there. It's not unusual. And it wasn't newsworthy. Nobody cared about it. Maybe it's because the Christians being slaughtered in Trump's comments. Cocoa farmers in Ghana are going hungry. Thousands struggle as payments stall amid market slump. Joseph Burma Daute, a Ghanaian cocoa farmer, delivered 6 bags of beans to be sold months ago, but still waiting for payment from the country's regulator, forcing the 65-year-old to limit his meals to 1 a day. Do you see what happens when communists control governments? When the free market is controlled by the state forces him to sell his beans to the state, not on the open marketplace. And they fail to pay him. Why? Because they're inept or corrupt or both. This is why socialism doesn't work. People will buy what they want to buy. And if a lot of people want to buy it, then demand is high. What happens when demand is high? The price soars. When there's no demand, people stop making that product. He's among thousands of farmers in Ghana, the world's second biggest cocoa producer, struggling to find money to buy food, pay for children's school fees, and invest in basic farm maintenance, as thousands of tons of unsold beans have piled up. The situation is comparable next door in Cote d'Ivoire, the biggest producer, as global cocoa demand has fallen sharply, leading global prices to have, over the course of a year or 2-year lows, about $4,000 a metric ton. But the problem is this: the prices for chocolate haven't come down. Prices for chocolate are just as elevated. So why aren't we getting price breaks if these people aren't getting paid? There was a spike in international trade during the Joe Biden years of runaway inflation. Dalte, previously worked as a teacher, told Reuters he is unable to pay for his older daughter's tuition and that his younger daughter keeps asking for money. To maintain a 10-hectare farm in Asinfoso, a major cocoa growing district, he spent 3,600 cedis using borrowed funds and still owes 2,000 cedis. For about 3 weeks now, I eat once a day. Things are very difficult for me. It's affected my life so much I cannot even describe it. Another farmer told Reuters his children could not return to university because he has not been paid for 6 bags of cocoa he delivered. Ghana's farm gate price, set annually by market regulator Cocoa Bod, is $5,300 a ton. Meaning international traders face losses on Ghanaian cocoa purchases. Their purchases must have dwindled as a result, leaving farmers unpaid. So because the government sets the price and it's below the market price, people aren't going to buy the stuff and sell it at a loss. Do you see the futility of having communists run your country? Henny Visa, thank you very much for your 35 Rand super sticker. Wow, unbelievable. They never learn. Look, a lot of countries have price controls. During World War II, our communist-in-chief, King Franklin Delano Roosevelt, and his corrupt government instituted price controls. They fixed the prices. As a consequence, there were shortages, not just because we needed it for war material, but because of their price controls. The U.S. government fixed the price of petrol. They regulated the price of petrol in the 1970s so that you couldn't buy petrol at the market price. And as a consequence, people went out of business because of government intervention in the marketplace. Well, what's the final total of the murder of protesters in Iran? Well, the figure we're hearing now is 7,000. Washington and Tehran are continuing negotiations regarding the Islamic Republic's nuclear program. More than 7,000 people died as a result of protests and unrest that rocked Iran in December and January. But now it's February and it's all gone quiet again. At least 7,002 people, including 6,506 protesters, 216 children, 214 government-affiliated forces, and 66 non-civilian non-protesters have died following the demonstrations. Wow. About 52,941 people have been detained during the protest. The figure from this organization, based in Virginia, Iranian Human Rights Organization, is more than double the death toll the government released. They claim just 3,117 people were killed. Protests were triggered by soaring inflation and collapse of the Iranian rial, but eventually their object expanded to calling for the overthrow of the theocratic regime. As President, I apologize to the Iranian nation for all the deficiencies and shortages. I declare the 14th government has exerted its full efforts to resolve the people's problems with strength and determination. BS. We're ashamed and feel obligated to serve all who were affected by these incidents, from martyrs in the police, the Revolutionary Guard Corps, and Bashi, to those who knowingly or unknowingly were misled and did things that shouldn't have happened. It's positive the Americans appear willing to tolerate Iranian enrichment with certain clearly set boundaries. Yeah, I'm not sure that Americans are willing to tolerate that. That's what the Turks are telling us. Emmanuel Macron, the French president, blames renewable energy for Spain's national blackout. Since adopting its climate fantasy change and energy transition law in May of 2021, Spain is committed to achieving climate neutrality by 2050. But here a woman's using her mobile phone because there's no lights when she's walking down the streets. French President Emmanuel Macron stated that Spain's resilience on renewable energy, or reliance, was central to last year's unprecedented blackout. He said in a February 10th interview with Spanish newspaper El País, that the issue of Spain is a false debate. Really? On April 28th last year, widespread blackouts plunged large swaths of Spain and Portugal and even parts of France into darkness, leaving millions without electricity. Its problem is that it is a 100% renewable energy model that its own domestic grid cannot support. The blackout in Spain has nothing to do with interconnections, but with the fact that no system, at least with current technology, can sustain such dependence on renewable energy. Stability in the energy mix is needed because otherwise shocks that are too large to occur, but it's not just interconnections, grids are needed. Aha, so someone telling the truth about the fact that the green energy scam doesn't work. That's why there was no power, because there's no sun shining at night and they don't store enough power to cover the grid. Tom Homan says that the operation in Minneapolis is ending. He announces the end of immigration enforcement surge in Minnesota. State withdrawal has already been underway this week and will continue into next week. White House border czar Tom Homan said today that the administration has made significant progress in Minnesota and will therefore conclude the immigration enforcement surge in the state. I propose that President Trump has concurred that this surge operation can conclude. Significant withdrawal has already been underway this week and will continue into next week. Homan said the administration has achieved an unprecedented level of coordination with law enforcement officials across the entire state. Now, that's fiction. There is no cooperation with these officials. Had there been cooperation, we wouldn't have had deaths, the streets wouldn't have been blocked, and we would have had these criminals turned over, and there would have been an operation. There is not unprecedented cooperation with Minnesota law enforcement. If there were, then the detainers for the 1,465 convicted felons would have been executed, instead of releasing 470 of them onto the streets of Minneapolis-St. Paul. There is no cooperation. I'm sorry, Tom. You're a reliable, trustworthy guy, but that's BS. Well, what do you know about the El Paso airspace shutdown? For folks that missed it, the U.S. government shut down for 10 days. They lifted it later the same day. 10 days, the airspace over El Paso's airfield because of a criminal intrusion and violation of U.S. airspace from Mexico. They blame disruption on a cartel drone incursion, but others are disputing it. Federal Aviation Administration publicly shut down the airspace over El Paso Tuesday for 10 days, a sudden decision that surprised local officials, disrupted travelers, and alarmed many others. The restrictions were lifted less than 8 hours later, but much remains unclear about why they abruptly shut down a major regional airport for more than a week. Trump administration officials said Mexican cartel drones breached airspace. Others dispute the explanation. So the order came without warning. At 11:30 p.m. local time, they halted all flights to and from El Paso for 10 days. The restriction encompassed a 10-mile area around El Paso, including the neighboring community of Santa Teresa, New Mexico, but did not apply to planes flying above 18,000 feet. The notices did not detail security reasons that prompted the restriction, but one notice, they said the federal government may use deadly force if an aircraft violating airspace was determined to pose an imminent security threat. Caused chaos in El Paso. Really? At midnight? How many people are flying out of an airport at midnight? Renard Johnson, the mayor of El Paso, said at a news conference Wednesday morning that many local officials remain unclear about why the FFA had shut down the airport. But by then, it was reopened, so what's your problem? Failure to communicate was unacceptable, he said. It resulted in a series of chaotic events around El Paso, including medical evacuation flights that were forced to divert to Las Cruces. Okay? I want to be very clear, this should never have happened. You cannot restrict airspace for a major city without coordinating with the city. Oh, yes, you can. Oh, yes, you can. Yes, you can, Mayor. Mayor dumbass. It's called the Supremacy Clause. The federal government's response for national security, not the mayor of El Paso. Shut your cake hole. Learn what the Constitution says. Read it. It's your friend. The Constitution is your friend. These morons who are in government, absolute morons. This is the document. You need to go to Barnes & Noble or go on Amazon and have someone order this document for you, because apparently you're too stupid as mayor of El Paso to understand the supremacy clause of the U.S. Constitution. The U.S. government has a responsibility for national security, for protecting Americans from foreign and domestic threats, like idiot mayors in El Paso. You want to complain about the level of coordination? That's fine. But are we supposed to leave the airspace open because a plane is flying towards El Paso with terrorists on it who claim to have a bomb? Should we just leave it open? We just leave the airspace open. Or do we shut it down and then inform you later on? What an idiot. Trump administration has blamed cartels for the reason for shutting down the airfield. Top officials of the Trump administration were quick to claim that the airspace was closed after a sudden incursion of Mexican drug cartels. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy said on social media that the FAA, an agency within the Transportation Department, and the Defense Department acted swiftly to address a cartel drone incursion. Federal agency has been largely stayed mum on the closure. Many officials pushed back on the drone explanation given by the Trump administration, saying why an incursion had prompted such a sweeping response. There have been drone incursions from Mexico going back as long as drones existed, said Representative Veronica Escobar, an El Paso Democrat. Of course. Multiple people briefed on the situation said the abrupt airspace closure was prompted by Customs Border Control officials deploying an anti-drone laser in the area without giving aviation officials enough time to assess the risk to commercial planes. Further, according to multiple people familiar with the situation, the FAA's move came after immigration officials earlier this week used an anti-drone laser shared with them by the Defense Department without coordination with the aviation agency. According to 4 people briefed on the situation, Pentagon FAA officials are set to meet on February 20th to discuss the safety implications of deploying the military's new anti-drone technology. The military is developing high-energy laser weapons to intercept and destroy drones. Well, whatever the problem is, the officials in El Paso don't know what they're talking about. Well, the SAVE Act has made it through the House of Representatives, requiring identification to vote in federal elections. GOP Save America Act passes House, heads for showdown with Democrats in the Senate. House Republicans passed the voter ID legislation amid vehement Democratic opposition, putting pressure on the Senate to act on the bill this election year. The bill, known as the Save America Act, would require a photo ID at the polls and proof of citizenship, such as a passport or birth certificate, to register to vote. So you don't have to vote with a birth certificate, just to register. Fair enough. It will also order states to remove non-citizens from existing voter rolls. Only one of the chamber's 214 Democrats, Representative Henry Cuellar of Texas, voted along with the 217 Republicans. The rest of Democrats insisted that checking citizenship requiring a photo ID was a racist scheme to disenfranchise minority voters. Ladies and gentlemen, 72% of Americans in poll after poll after poll support voter ID. 72% of Americans. Nothing gets that level of support anywhere. The last time we saw a poll that even approached that was in the aftermath of the Gulf War, when George Bush Sr. had a 90% approval rating. A 90% approval rating. Nothing approaches 72%. That is a landslide of epic proportions. The only people that don't support photo ID are racist, bigot Democrats and leftists. There's nothing wrong with photo ID. Why is it a problem? When you go to the pharmacy to pick up your prescription medication, you must have photo identification. When you go to purchase liquor in this country, you must have photo identification. When you purchase cigarettes in this country, you must have photo identification. When you go to a hospital or clinic, you must provide photo identification to get care. When you operate a motor vehicle, you must have identification and a license to do so, photo ID. When you board a plane in this country, you must have real ID. Black Americans were at every airport that I just went through, traveling with photo ID, real ID. Black Americans are at Walmart, CVS, Walgreens, Rite Aid, purchasing prescription medications or picking them up, displaying a photo ID. Black Americans are at package stores buying Boone's Farm and Mad Dog and wine and beer every time I go to one of those places. Black Americans consistently buy cigarettes around this country and show photo ID. The racism here is from the leftists who have low expectations of minorities and think that minorities are dumb, lazy, stupid, or incapable of securing identification. But they offer no solutions. Once again, I offer a solution I've offered for nigh on 30 years of listening to this bullshit. If you truly believe that a minority is incapable or somehow is being kept from getting an ID, then rent vans, drive to the places where these people you claim are at, offer them a free ride and a bag lunch, a box lunch, take them to the Department of Motor Vehicles, whoever issues identification in your state, and pay for their identification. Oh, but you don't want to do that because you're racist and you're using this issue as a racial issue when there's no race issue to it. These Democrats are not real politicians. They are grifters. They are slimy merchants. They are leeches on society. They are fleas. They are scumbags. They are useless turd balls. And anyone who falls for this stuff is dumb and is stupid. Does that hurt your feelings? You're stupid. Stupid people should wear signs. That way we wouldn't ask them any questions, in the words of Bill Engvall. Yes, stupid people. Wow. House Majority Leader Steve Scalise called the bill critically important. For one of the most precious franchise in America, it's the sacred right to vote. Their own leaders would tell you if you actually increase the integrity of elections by requiring a picture ID, that somehow it's going to suppress votes. The opposite happens. He said during the floor debate, many people participate because they know that somebody's not going to be stealing their vote by showing up when they're not supposed to be there, just by requiring a picture ID. 100%. After a photo ID requirement was passed in the Georgia legislature and signed by the governor, the percentage of eligible voters increased in each election after that. Georgia has a large black population. More black Americans in Georgia voted than ever before with the photo ID. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, a New York Demon Rat, called the bill an even more extreme version of the original SAVE Act. He pointed to a provision that would send voter registration lists to the Department of Homeland Security to identify ineligible registrations and non-citizens. How can that possibly be good in this environment? How can it be good? To inform law enforcement of criminals in the country? Well, it can be very good. What kind of plan is this guy living on? Wow. You have to have a photo ID to open a bank account. Black Americans have bank accounts. And based on all the commercials I see, only black Americans rely on Charles Schwab and Merrill Lynch and banking services. They're the only ones who invest in this country. They're also the only people in this country who have erectile dysfunction, cancer, leukemia. They rely on Jardins. Apparently the only people that shop for Ford and General Motors as well as black Americans. Oh, I'm sorry. And lesbians. Yeah, they're also included in the adverts, but the rest of America is not part of it. Yeah. Well, American colleges are receiving money from abroad. A lot of money. A lot of money. What's going on here? Bad enough we have hundreds of thousands of Chinese spies in our universities. American colleges received $5.2 billion in foreign funding last year, according to the Education Department. Qatar was the top foreign donor, gave more than $1 billion to educational institutions. What are they buying with that money? What are they buying? American College University received more than $5.2 billion through 8,300 transactions. Wow. And this is only the gifts that are $250,000 or more. What about all the money that was less than that? The top recipient of foreign aids was Carnegie Mellon here in Pennsylvania, which received $1 billion, followed by MIT at $1 billion, Stanford $775 million, Harvard got $324 million. Qatar was the largest source of foreign gifts and contracts. This was followed by the UK at $633 million, China at $528 million, Switzerland $451 million, Japan $374 million, Germany $292 million, and Saudi Arabia spending more than $285 million in our universities. Between 1986, when Section 117 was included in the Act, and December of 2025, a total of $67.6 billion in foreign funding reported across 555 educational institutions. Wow. The all-time list of money was $7.7 billion from Qatar, $6.4 billion from China, and $4.7 billion from Germany. That's crazy. Top recipient during that period was Harvard, which got $4.2 billion. Carnegie Mellon got $3.9 billion, and MIT with $3.5 billion from foreign donors. Thanks to Trump administration's new accountability portal, the American people have unprecedented visibility into foreign dollars flowing to our college and university, including funding from countries and entities that are involved in activities that threaten America's national security. A new era of transparency, according to the Department of Education. Wow. Wow. That's crazy. Why are they buying our universities? What's going on there, folks? What is going on there? I mean, that's just crazy. I mean, honestly, what's going on there? What is going on there? I mean, I think inquiring minds want to know. What do you want to know? I know I want to know. I know I want to know. Okay. Thing announced. What's up? The vote is still a secret ballot. Exactly. Vote counting is underway in Bangladesh, folks. An important vote is taking place there. We've got Syrian army is up to some stuff. India versus Namibia in the T20. Ooh, if you're a cricket fan, let's see what's going on there. Defending championship tournament co-host India face Namibia in Group A of the 2026 ICC T20 World Cup. I went to the T20 World Cup in England. Not going to go to it in Namibia, in Delhi, though. So they crushed them, 209-9 versus 61. 20 overs for India and 6.2 overs for Namibia. That's not good. That's not good. I guess it's still ongoing. That's a huge run-up in score, is it not? Is it not a huge run-up? I think it is. That's quite a ways to run the things up. All right, let's take a look what else is happening around the world. They're still looking for this Nancy Guthrie story. I mean, every day, black, white, brown, children, women go missing in this country. Yet the media are obsessed with Savannah Guthrie's mother. On the radio coming back last night, I heard Sean Hannity upset that Nancy Guthrie's gone. Really? Why? What is your dog in the fight? The mother of a media celebrity? And that's why you care? Oh, boy. Unbelievable. Of course, folks, we reported yesterday that James Van Der Beek, the star of Dawson's Creek, has passed away tragically at the age of 48 from cancer, colorectal cancer. Van Der Beek, Dawson's Creek star, has died. James Van Der Beek, the soft-spoken, soft-eyed actor whose boyish good looks and earnestness landed him leading role in the 90s teen drama Dawson's Creek, catapulted him to stardom, has died. He was 48. He announced in November 2024 that he was living with stage 3 colorectal cancer. The family has no money. They're destitute, despite him having been a Hollywood celebrity, having spent so much money on his cancer care. So they have a GoFundMe account, which has already got $1 million of a $1.3 million help. He found success in the big screen in Varsity Blues, the Texas Rangers, Rules of Attraction, is also contested on Dancing with the Stars in 2019. The Dawson's cast apparently stayed close over the years, last coming together for a fundraising effort in New York City last fall. He'd been scheduled to appear alongside his castmates at Dawson's Creek reunion, but had to pull out due to a stomach bug. He appeared virtually thanking Michelle Williams, who organized the event, for the nonprofit F Cancer and Van Der Beek in the cast. I'm just so sad, says Michelle Phillips. He's my friend. I loved him. So grateful for friendship all those years. Tributes for Van Der Beek quickly poured in Wednesday with the news of his passing. Katie Holmes mourned Van Der Beek in a poignant handwritten letter posted to her Instagram account praising her Dawson's Creek co-star's compassion and selflessness. I formed some words with a heavy heart. This is a lot to process. I'm so grateful to have shared a piece of James' journey. Thank you to share space with your imagination. Sacred, breathing the same in the land of to make believe. Yeah. James Van Der Beek, dead at 48. Man, that is just... Actress Stacy Keibler shared a photo of herself with Van Der Beek as she danced with him on that Dancing with the Stars. Kevin Smith remembered Van Der Beek by recalling the times he called upon the actor to appear in his cult films, including 2001's Jay and Silent Bob Strikes Back and 2019's Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. He didn't just lend us his name and celebrity, he came to play, making memorable moments in forgettable films. James Van Der Beek dead at 48, folks. At 48. Way too young. Way too young. Sad story. The chair of President Trump's Religious Liberty Commission removes a member after a heated hearing on anti-Semitism. Carrie Prejean Bowler at the Rock Church during services in 2009. That's a long time ago. The chairman of President Trump's Religious Liberty Commission said Wednesday that he ousted a member of the commission after she sparred with local members during a contentious public debate on anti-Semitism. Texas Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, who chairs the commission, said it was his call to remove Carrie Prejean Bowler, a former Miss California, after tense exchanges during a hearing Monday over what constitutes anti-Semitism. Bowler, during the hearing, defended conservative commentator Candace Owens. She defended Candace Owens, who has boosted conspiracy theories and embraced anti-Semitic rhetoric to her millions of online followers. Carrie Prejean Bowler has been removed from President Trump's Religious Liberty Commission. No member of the commission has the right to hijack a hearing for their own personal or political agenda on any issue. This is clearly without question what happened Monday in a hearing on anti-Semitism. This was my decision. Seth Dillon, CEO of the conservative satirical site The Babylon Bee, which routinely lampoons progressives, was there to testify that conservatives need to push back against a growing anti-Semitic movement on the right. Bowler challenged him, questioning whether critics of Israel should be considered anti-Semitic. Dillon said no, but the context matters. There are people who try to conceal their anti-Semitism under the guise of merely criticizing Israel. Yep. So she's been removed. Well, what do you think? Is that appropriate? Probably. My thoughts on the matter. Probably appropriate. What are we doing? 371 people currently here, 1,600 views, and 283 likes. What's with the likes, guys? Let's get the likes going. Let's push that like button. A lot of work goes into this. What about DHS funding? What's the question about the? Any thoughts about it? What? Is it too much? Is it too little? Should it be done? My thought is that we shouldn't be playing games. DHS should have been funded already. That's my thoughts on it. Is there something more you're looking for? I'm not really sure. So once again, we have another situation in which a transgender lunatic has done a mass shooting. A mass shooting. On that Van Der Beek story, let me come back to that very quickly, okay? James Van Der Beek's family's GoFundMe reached $1 million. The GoFundMe page for James Van Der Beek's family surpassed $1 million in donations following the actor's death. The page, created Wednesday by James' friends, has raised $1.32 million as of this morning. The goal initially was to turn $50,000, was raised to $1.5 million this morning. There he is with his family before he passed away. 6 children. Over 26,000 people have contributed to the GoFundMe, including Zoe Saldana. She has set a donation of $2,500 a month. Wow. Derek Ho, Ricky Lake, Linda Hurst, and Kaylee Coco have also given money. There he is with his wife. The GoFundMe was created to cover the family's essential living expenses, pay bills, and support the children's education. There's the family again. Look at the girl on the left. She's going to be a little vamp. Look how she's a little preteen. She's got her shirt tied up, and she's got ripped jeans. She's got the little stance. There he is before he passed. Really, you could see how the cancer got to him. What a shame. He auctioned off his Dawson's Creek memorabilia, including the outfit his character wore on the show's pilot and jerseys from the movie Varsity Blues last year, just to pay for cancer treatments. He said, I've been storing these treasures for years, waiting for the right time to do something with them. With all the recent unexpected twists and turns life has presented, it's clear to me the time is now. He sold all his memorabilia to pay for his medical bills. Wow. His wife said he passed peacefully. Why the Olympics ice dancing upset was so controversial, the French duo beats a married American couple. Sinister Energy triumphed over the heartwarming story. France's polarizing figure skating duo of Laurence Fournier-Baudry and Guillaume Cizeron narrowly edged America's Madison Chock and Evan Bates to win gold. For as exciting as competition may have been, with the French teams 225.8 score, beating the Americans 224.39. The All-Fights drama made the result all the more intriguing. The French duos found themselves in the middle of a controversy over the past few weeks, especially with the release of Netflix's Glitter and Gold documentary, which was released earlier this month. Former Team USA figure skater turned media personality Adam Rippon reportedly said that too in the documentary there's some sinister energy around the partnership. Americans did not win gold. How they became partners is quite controversial. Cizeron used to pair with Gabrielle Papadakis. They won gold in 2022, but she released a book in January so as not to disappear, in which she said she's afraid of being alone with her partner and accused him of controlling and domineering behavior. Her book used the terms controlling, demanding, and being under his grip. In the face of the smear campaign targeting me, I want to express my incomprehension and my disagreement with the labels being attributed to me, says Cizeron. I wish to also denounce the content of the book, which contains false information attributed to me, among other things, statements I've never made, which I consider serious. Beyond the deterioration of the relationship, Papadakis also retired in 2024 and moved herself from the training facility because of Baudry's boyfriend and former partner, Nikolaj Sorensen, who trained at the Ice Academy. Also, he's gay. Sorensen received a maximum of 6-year ban for sexual maltreatment, as announced by Canada's Office of Sport Integrity. Wow. Crazy stuff. With her boyfriend banned, Baudry found a new partner in Cizeron. Wow. This is crazy. This is the 4th and final Olympics for the American pair. Evan Bates and his wife, Madison Chuck. Well, shame. Ladies and gentlemen, the mass shooting in Canada, once again perpetrated by a deranged transgender. Transgender dropout who killed family at 6 at former school posted about dream of becoming a petite woman. Transgender high school dropout who slaughtered his mom and stepbrother before gunning down 6 others at his former school in Canada had whined online about his 6-foot-tall frame, making it impossible to live out his dream as a petite woman. Jesse van Roetseler, 18, aired his grievances about transitioning as well as his obsession for guns in a series of online posts in the years before unleashing hell at Tumbler Ridge Secondary School on Tuesday. Do I have a good build for HRT? He wrote in a since deleted post on the trans community forum. Here he is with a firearm. Any advice appreciated? Should I put on weight or anything? Work out? In one March 2020 post, he described himself as MTF. I'm pre-HRT 15-year-old. I'm super skinny, so that sometimes makes you feel kind of good. The post surfaced after Canadian cops saying it was too early to determine if there's any link between him and the trans community. Oh, looky there. Look at that police vehicle with rainbow colors on it. Authorities said he started transitioning 6 years ago, had a history of police visits to his home and concerns for his mental health. Police are still, and we still entertain this nonsense. Police are still probing a motive for the horrifying attack. Well, we know the motive. He had mental health issues. Mental health issues. The mother killed by the transgender Canadian school shooter had called out trans hate. The mother, who was murdered by her school shooting transgender son in Canada, defended trans rights and urged, God bless it, stop this. Okay, this page is, okay, stop it. Stop it. Okay, I can't use this. There's the mother. She defended his nonsense. There he is. Creepy looking bastard. What the hell's going on with those pages? Bangladesh, the election results, vote counting in a race. Polls are closed. It's a landmark election. Direct contest between Tariq Rahman's Bangladesh National Party and a coalition of 11 parties led by resurgent Jamaat al-Islami. Well, of course, the Islamic Party doing well here. Syrian army has taken control of Al-Tanf military base as U.S. troops have left. Syria's defense ministry says its forces have taken control of the strategic base amid coordination with the U.S. Syrian forces take control of strategic Al-Tanf military base near the border with Iraq and Jordan. The Syrian Defense Ministry said amid the withdrawal of the long-standing United States presence at the base. She said in a statement Thursday that Syrian Arab army units had taken control of Al-Tanf, securing the base and its surroundings through coordination between Syrian and American sides. And Russia has banned WhatsApp. pushing state-backed alternative. Rights campaigners say restrictions on messaging apps are a transparent attempt to ramp up control and surveillance. Russia has blocked messaging service WhatsApp over alleged legal breaches, urging users to switch to a state-backed alternative in what is widely seen as a bid to clamp down on free speech. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov announced the move today, attributing it to WhatsApp's reluctance to comply with the norms and the letter of Russian law. He advised Russians to turn to Max, a state-sponsored platform, touted as a one-stop shop for messaging. No doubt they have access to reading your messages. Max? No thanks. I'll pass. Rights campaigners like Amnesty International hit out this week at the Kremlin's continued limits on Telegram, saying restrictions on messaging apps are a transparent attempt to ramp up control and surveillance. As usual, Russian authorities are resorting to the bluntest instrument in their digital repression toolbox, censorship and obstruction, under the guise of protecting people's rights and interests. A WhatsApp spokesman said Wednesday the company was doing everything we can to keep users connected. Trying to isolate over 100 million people from private and secure communication is a backward step and can only lead to less safety for people of Russia. Since December, many Russians have only been able to get their WhatsApp through a VPN. And that's because WhatsApp is secure and the Russians can't tap into it. So that's why they're doing it. Yep. So, here's a good story. This is silly. From Egypt, Nigeria, South Africa, which is Africa's most powerful army? Let's see where they say the Sandef falls. From the Sahel to Sudan, rising conflicts, regional tensions are driving a new arms race. Here's a breakdown of top military powers. Morocco overtakes Angola. So they list South Africa as the fourth most powerful military in Africa, 40th in the world. That's comical. It's nowhere near that. But South Africa has stayed where they're at previously. Rising Phoenix, thank you for everything you do. Thank you very much. 50 Rand Super Chat. I don't know why you don't trust WhatsApp. It's encrypted. Yeah, anyway, but that's your personal choice. BBM is gone. BlackBerry Messenger is long gone. We no longer have it. Hey, Hendo. Tinky Keezer. And that is the news for today, folks. You will be redirected, if you want to hang around here, to our pre-show for the Ramaphosa Comedy Hour coming up at 7 p.m. South African time. So in 30 minutes, we'll be up on that. And we'll do that comedy hour. And then we have an interview with a refugee family of South Africans who are Indian who've come to America. And we'll see how things are going for them. It will be anonymous. I've named them Vikram and Neela. You're welcome, Mark people. Thank you very much. Bruce the service dog. Yep. Well, that image will change. I just need a photo from the family. I want to get something. I've had to, last night, set up 7 live streams. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. 7 live streams last night. So we got this one, the Ramaphosa, then the Indians. Then tomorrow we got Crimes Against Humanity. And the Smiths are tomorrow as well. And then Saturday we have Bruce the service dog. And Sunday we have folks in North Carolina, so anonymous. So yeah, we've got one anonymous today. Then tomorrow we have people on camera. Then Saturday morning people on camera, and Sunday we have anonymous. So a mix of 4 refugee interviews over the next couple of days. There you have it, folks. Cool beans. Okay. Cool beans. All right, how are we doing on likes now? Do we gain some more likes here? I'm curious. 347. That's a little bit better. That's a little bit better. And some super chat revenue, plus some new members. Thank you for that. I think there's 1 new member and 2 renewals. But anyway, thank you for that. All right. Okay. So 50 Rand from Risen Phoenix. 35 Rand from Henny Visa. I think I missed that, Henny. Thank you for 35 Rand. Joe Mail, 35 Rand. Thank you. Okay. $5 from Apocalypse Ninja. Thank you very much for that. Francois Thron, your new membership. And Amazing Yacht Destinations, 40 Thai Baht. I did get that one. Trix Mostart, 21 Rand. Got that one. Susie Mtetwa, 21 Rand. Thank you for that. Joe Mail, new membership. Got that one. And 140 Rand from Broken Arrow to get us started. And then Katie's Gardens, 10 months as a member. Storm Chaser, new member. See, this is new members. A lot more new members here. Medical Study, they were a black family. Your daughter's a black family, or there was a black family there. Dion Emsley, thank you for the 70 Rand super chat. Clouds are gathering. Villa Fundam, I have a new member as well. Thank you all for that. So I'm taking advantage of my viewer activity tab here. It lets me actually see what's going on. Wow. Prediction tonight, Sona. Ramaphosa will promise lots of things and deliver on nothing. That's my prediction. Thank you very much. Oh, that's a subscription. Thank you, David Villiers, for subscribing. Yeah, Americana's starting to invade Pennsylvania now. Yeah, there are. Well, we have some that are over in the Philadelphia area. Dr. Mike helped some come into there. But, yeah, so anyway, speaking of this, let me see if Dr. Mike responded to my message. Hang on. Okay. What is this? I'm not a refugee tour. What is this? Who created this group? I'm listed as a group admin. Oh, that's old. Oh, that's old. That's an old group. I forgot about that. Am I in Discord? I don't use Discord. Oh, boy. What else we got here? I'm getting a message from someone that says, "Hi, I'm so sorry some refugees have let you down and taken advantage of your trust. It's disheartening after all you've done. Please know they do not represent us. They do not speak for the real community. We see what happened, and you're back 100%. Thank you for standing with us. You're appreciated more than you know. Sterke." And like we say, ons maas het nie bang kinders goed gemaakt nie. Okay. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. It's very kind of you. Yeah, I'm not sure what prompted that. Maybe my late night video. Last night I did a video. I did a short. Maybe that's what's prompting some of these comments. I'm getting some very nice things coming from people today. In fact, let me see what happened with that short. I don't even know if anybody even watched it. Oh, a few people watched it. Okay, cool. Let's see. I had 9,000 to watch that short I did last night. Some dislikes on it. So, a person want to thank you. Bless you, Colonel. Thank you, sir. Your efforts much appreciated. Dear Chris, I'm sure you don't hear this often enough. You're valued, appreciated. South African, appreciate your kindness. Appreciate all you've done. Pillar of encouragement, doing great work. I watched the video of the refugees meet and greet in Dallas. You're right. The amount of greatness, honesty, and energy you've put in this is incredible. The nervous lady that spoke the best. Why? Her words were from the heart. She lifted you up high. Every word hit the mark about you. Nobody on YouTube has put as much work into the South Refugee Program as you. Over and out, Captain. Well, thank you for that. I'd say nobody, period, has put as much in for me, including people who get paid to do it. But that's just my opinion. A lot of kind comments here. Okay, thank you so much. I'm looking for bad ones. There's always some turd that wants to say something stupid. Okay. Anyway, I did the video because I just want to point out to people that even with nasty people out there, it's what I've done is worth it. If one life has been saved, it makes a difference. And that was my point last night. I was a little irritated by a few things that happened 24 hours prior to that. But anyway, so. Anyway, yeah. All right, cool. There's a lot of nice comments there. So thank you all for watching it. I mean, I forgot about that. I did that last night at 2 o'clock in the morning when I was trying to fall asleep. Eventually did fall asleep. But I did it short from my living room on my couch after reading some messages yesterday. And I felt, well, it just needs to be said. So I did it. So anyway, thank you all for who commented on it. I appreciate it. Okay. Prediction tonight, Sona. Pizza party. He's going to tell stupid things. Garrett, what's going on? Sad for me to see you get disheartened by these idiots stealing your content, Chris. We all know who actually does the hard yards. We're the morons. Well, thank you, Charles. Appreciate that. There's some good shots of people that don't know how to march. Kusiki says, I knocked her out of her slump. Need a good kick. Well, sometimes we all need a good kick in the butt. Dollar Digging says, South is still one of the best countries, even with its problems. No, it's not. It's not one of the best countries. Its people are amazing. Its potential is off the charts, but South Africa is not a good place. It's not. That's just objective truth. Erica, oh my goodness. Yeah, I saw a message from you. Thank you for the 70 rand. Erica, how you doing? I saw something from you a few minutes ago about Maryland. Someone wrote me about Maryland, and I wrote back to them. They didn't answer my question, so I don't know what to tell them. They're in Pennsylvania. They wanted to know about Maryland. These people don't contact me. It's kind of hard for me to get involved. So anyway, for those who watched Night Owls last night, we were kind of busy last night. We had a family that missed a connection in Dallas, and there was no one there to make sure they got moved on to their ultimate destination, which is Abilene. Speaking of which, did that person ever get the call? Let me see. Hang on a second. They never returned my call. Let me see. $949. Who is calling me at 940? Who is 240? Where's that area code? That sounds familiar. Maryland. Well, people calling me from Maryland, that's very inconsiderate at this hour. You know, I'm broadcasting. Hang on a second here. All right. I got a group I forgot all about. There's no message in it. Someone used it this morning for the first time in ages. What am I looking for here? I'm looking for something from last night. Who sent that to me last night? Oh, gosh, bless it. Anyway, 325. I think that's what I'm looking for. Area code 325 is Texas. Yeah, it's Texas. All right, I'm going to make this phone call. We're going to wrap up here. You'll be transferred to my next stream, which is for Cyril Ramposa in a few minutes. So hang tight there, folks, and stick with us. I was going to end here a little while ago, but I got distracted here. Okay, so is it there? Yeah, okay, Cyril Ramposa. We'll be up with that in a few minutes, okay? So I'll see you over there in just a couple minutes. Thanks. Oh, black family doing medicals. Thank you for that. Do you think South Africa would benefit from a similar policy that is using this for Native American residents? No, I don't think so. Don't think so. Yep. I don't think so. All right, folks, cheers, and we'll see you shortly on the Ramaphosa stream.